The Vikings missed an extra point after their touchdown in the third quarter. That's how we're sitting at 13-12. They continue to look at Charles Tillman, the injured player for the Bears, over by the 5-yard line. The medical staff and the doctor out there continuing to take a peek at Tillman. As you see, we've seen movement from him. Let's go back and look at the struggles here for the Vikings a moment ago.
Yeah, here you go, that last play. You see Matt Burke, the center, and you see Matt Tuina just blow him up. He's in the backfield by 3 yards. You know, we talked about the left side of this offensive line of the Vikings being so dominant. They have not been tonight. You know, Tuina's a rookie out of Oregon. Just handle Matt Burke on that play. Now, some props to the Chicago Bears defensive signal caller, because what they did is they slanted. They anticipated the play. Just like offensive play callers call plays, the defensive guys do the same thing. Lovie Smith did a nice job of dialing up the right play, or I should say Bob Babich, the defensive coordinator.
It has not been a good night for Adrian Peterson, who had 20 carries, 224 yards in the game at Soldier Field, but coming off the game that he described as the worst he's ever had, any level of football. 14 carries, 3 yards against the 49ers. Nowhere to run by an aggressive Bears defense. And you see his last 31 carries over the last 7 quarters, 47 total yards, and only 5 carries tonight, Tony, over 2 yards.
Well, let's talk about that. That first game versus Chicago, 224 yards and just 20 carries and 3 touchdowns. People remember that. If you're the Chicago Bears and you know that Adrian Peterson is coming out tonight and everybody thinks he's a wunderkind, you want to stop him especially. That's exactly what they've done.
I was excited.
See every BCS game live and exclusive on NASN. The Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the BCS National Championship game live from New Orleans. The Bowl Championship Series live this January on NASN.
Is this the year the Cup comes to Buffalo?
To Carolina?
To Pittsburgh?
Is this the year someone scores 50 and 38?
And 37?
In 36?
Is this the year someone scores 200 points?
Is this the year kids start taping their sticks like Stahl?
Is this the year someone scores 93?
Is this the year a forward becomes unstoppable?
Is this the year a goalie stops everything?
Is this the year we finally figure out who's dad's favorite?
Is this the year?
Is this the year?
Этот год? Is this the year?
Is this the year?
College basketball returns to NASN with a live doubleheader featuring 3 of last season's Final Four. First up, Michigan's Wolverines take on the highly ranked UCLA Bruins. Then it's a national championship game rematch as Florida and Ohio State renew their rivalry. A live college basketball doubleheader this Saturday only on NASN.
After a lengthy delay, Charles Tillman was helped off, not walking with very much of his own impetus, being essentially aided off by 2 medical personnel from the Bears. So he is out. Sidney Rice got tangled with him. He is also out. Back to this Minnesota drive. It's play 10 of a drive that started after the Bears were stopped on 4th and 1. 2nd and goal from the 8. And Jackson play action to Peterson. Nobody open in the end zone, just throwing it away as he got out of the tackle box and was being shown toward the sideline. And Jackson is slow to recover after that hit. And he's going to be coming out, it appears. So Jackson, as he was rolling out, gets hurt. The backup quarterback tonight is Brooks Bollinger, who had 9 starts with the Jets in 2005. For Chad Pennington and Vinny Testaverde when they were hurt. Started at Green Bay. Just as he got it out, just trying to get out of the way, Jackson was slowed up there. So Brooks Bollinger,
Well, they better hurry.
Started that 30-40 nothing game at Green Bay, and the Vikings are forced to take a timeout as that clock reset quickly. So another injury to Tavares Jackson, who's been injured already 3 times this season.
hard-hitting action of American football continues on NASN, the home of the NFL. It's Week 16 and crunch time, with the playoffs getting closer and every game critical in the hunt to advance. This Sunday, it's a live doubleheader. The playoff-bound New York Giants battle the Buffalo Bills. Then, the Miami Dolphins take on one of the greatest teams in NFL history, the New England Patriots. Coverage begins with Sunday NFL Countdown, live this Sunday on NASN.
Let's go. Hale, come in. Looks like the med school scouts are out early today.
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports. Download the guide for college-bound students at ncaastudent.org.
The NHL continues on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, Philadelphia fly into Buffalo to meet Brian Campbell and the Sabres for the first time this season. Then live from the Saddle Dome, the Flames host the Stars. A live NHL doubleheader this Friday only on NASN.
Vikings have 2 timeouts remaining. Brooks Bollinger comes back on the field as they continue to look at Tavares Jackson working on the back of his left leg. So Bollinger, who relieved against Detroit, Philly, and San Diego, and got the start at Green Bay in Game 9 of the season, in here on 3rd and goal from the 8. And they'll just run with Peterson, almost mess up the handoff, but Peterson scores! They will go for 2, and only fitting on this night of less than scintillating offense that essentially a near disaster in the backfield turns into a touchdown.
They run into each other.
That went from fumble to touchdown in 1 second.
Brandon McGowan in the backfield misses the tackle, and Adrian Peterson does the rest.
Peterson's 2nd touchdown of the night, 12th rushing touchdown of the year, 13th touchdown of the season. The Vikings will go for 2 for the first time this year. Chester Taylor in the slot in this empty backfield. The Bollinger quarterback draw, and the former Badger from Wisconsin scores the 2-point conversion.
Welcome to Monday Night Football, where Kyle Orton and Brooks Bollinger are your quarterbacks, boys and girls.
Now you're piling on, Tony. Now you're piling on.
Bollinger came in, did great.
Thank you.
Brooks Bollinger, who played for Brad Childress when Childress was Barry Alvarez's offensive coordinator across the border at the University of Wisconsin, comes up with this 2-point conversion. Guy who's just hung around in the league here, traded from the Jets in 2006, and the Vikings take a 7-point lead. A lot of injuries on that last set of downs. Let's get an update. Michelle first.
Well, Tavares Jackson is getting his calf worked on, that left calf. It appears he has cramps. They're stretching it out, and they've been giving him lots of electrolytes. But one of his best wide receivers, Sidney Rice, is still in the locker room. He went there in a cart. It's a right ankle injury. He is questionable. He tried to walk, but athletic trainer Eric Sugarman made him get on the cart to go to the locker room. So we'll find out just how serious that is, Mike.
Okay, Michelle, let's watch what the Vikings do here. Devin Hester back deep to receive. It's been squid kickoffs mostly to the Vikings left all night. This time they come to the Vikings right, and Hester from the 16. On the short kick, Hester with a seam. Devin Hester made the first man miss again. A flag is down behind the play. Hester gets to the 47, but this could be coming back.
On the return, holding, receiving team number 25. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Called on Garrett Wolf, negating the Hester return of 30 yards. 25 on the left side. Had a grab of Darren Sharper.
You know, Mike, these squib kicks, these mortars that they're trying, nothing seems to work against Devin Hester. Tony, why are they kicking to him?
You know, I pose this question all the time. It's like when Barry Bonds hit everything out. You don't pitch to him, and you don't kick to Devin Hester.
Bears trail for the first time tonight. Orton to Garrett Wolf, just had the holding penalty. Gets out of the McCauley tackle. Good gain of about 8, a couple of yards shy of the first down. Here's Susie Culver.
Well, Mike, it looked bad for cornerback Charles Tillman, but all encouraging now, because it really took him a while just to even get to his feet after this big hit. He was helped off the field, and when he got to the sideline, he immediately fell to his knees and began throwing up. Maybe the product of a stomach problem, because I saw the same thing earlier in the game. They say he just had the wind knocked out of him, but he's been up on the sideline running around.
Tangled with Sidney Rice on that play. Gain of 9 on the screen to Wolf, the pass to Wolf. And now Garrett gets a full first down with Jamie Mitchell tackling. So we've got both starting running backs, Adrian Peterson. Ziggy Wolf and the Wolf family own the Vikings. This is Garrett Wolf.
No relation.
No different relation. Spelling.
That's right.
But confusing nonetheless.
That, you know, that throw-up line on the sideline got me. That's the one I like. Do we have a camera on that?
That was just a comment on the quarterback play.
Susie's really working down there. You know?
First down for the Bears from the 32, down 7, inside of 10 minutes. Kyle Orton complete. Bernard Berrien tried to shake free from Dwight Smith. Brought down at the 47-yard line. Back-to-back first downs for the Bears, a gain of 15.
Tony, the quarterbacks are heating up now.
That's good.
Just takes a little bit of time here in the dome.
I have a statistic you'll like, by the way.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The Bears, 4 of their 5 wins, they were trailing at some point in the 4th quarter. So they do not quit. They have a chance to win the game still, which I know makes you happy.
Absolutely. We may have overtime.
That's not stretching.
Wolf remains the running back. Rookie, Northern Illinois. Picking up the blitz, did a nice job doing it. Here's Greg Olson, rookie tight end out of the U, out of Miami. Gets to the 40-yard line, first down. And the Bears with their best offensive sequence of the night. Chad Greenway, the tackle.
Yeah, the Vikings came with their zone blitz that time, and they end up with Kenichi Udeze matched up on Greg Olson. That's not a good matchup for the Vikings. So you see Udeze right there, runs by him. Olson takes it up the field.
After the first catch of the night for Olson, Bears at the Viking 40. Right back to the air, screen set up, couldn't get to it. The pressure was coming, but the patience of Spencer Johnson to stand in the way of the running back, able to get it done.
Yeah, Spencer Johnson, a real nice job of reading his screen.
Well, we talk about the Bears and their offensive struggles tonight. There it is, 13 possessions, averaging only about 11 yards per possession.
That's not good.
9 first downs, 3 of them come here on this drive, and 7 of the 13 possessions have been 3 and outs.
The next report will be Lovie Smith vomiting on the sideline.
Just a lack of playmakers, really. Yeah. They just have a lack of playmakers. Devin Hester on the field. Here is the pass to Wolf. And the offensive line never sensed Cedric Griffin behind him. And the tackle is made for no gain.
They've had a poor offense all year. Lovie Smith likes to say that they are a run-first team, but they don't get any yards. You're looking at Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, so good last year when Rex Grossman was so good, but this year doesn't develop Rex Grossman. Running back Cedric Benson didn't work out at all. You know, they missed Thomas Jones. The tight end, the first pick, Greg Olson, people feel he hasn't maxed out. There's pressure on Ron Turner. He could take the fall for the Bears' total lack of offense.
And their offensive line has struggled all season long, and that's where it starts.
They're down to a 3rd-string quarterback. The 1st and 2nd-string quarterbacks have produced basically nothing. The Bears have made a living on defense this year. That's not there, and there's no offense.
Timeout Bears.
From the people who brought you College Game Day and the worldwide leader in sports comes the biggest thing to hit college football in years, College Football Live. A new way to get your fix every weekday with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and packed full of previews and predictions. Get ahead of the game every weekday with College Football Live on NASN.
was an offensive lineman for 4 years. I no longer wear pads, but I still carry a lot of weight on my shoulders.
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports.
Metrodome, it's 3rd and long 9. Jaws, is this 4-down territory?
Not yet. Too much time left. 7:39 to go. I think if you don't get it here, unless you get in a 4th and short situation, you would punt it.
Factors in your play calling. You may want to get 5 or 6 and then make a decision. Orton, pressure coming. It was picked up on the corner. Nobody's open. He throws incomplete down the middle. Orton, as he tried to stride into the pass. Kevin Williams, who sees those constant double teams, had a hand on his ankle. And the Bears are now 1 of 14 on 3rd down, and let's see what to say. Oh, a flag is down. On the Bears.
There are 2 fouls on the play, holding offense number 78. This penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, offense, loss of down, 4th down.
Interesting intentional grounding call. Rarely do you see that on a pass thrown 20 yards downfield. He was in the pocket.
It's a bad call, Mike. He was trying to get Rasheed Davis down the seam. You know, he was trying to get him the football. He just had people hanging on.
Somebody hanging on his leg.
You'll see it right here. You know, he steps up in the pocket. Rasheed Davis now going down the middle as
that's an
awful call.
Awful call. That's a terrible call. Oh, man. It doesn't matter because there was one flag anyway.
Well, it's still a bad call because that's the loss of down.
That's the problem with it, yeah. Wow, that is really poor. Maynard from the 49 will kick it away. Great hang time. Can they stop it? Yes. Well covered special teams-wise for the Bears. Corey Graham was the one who kept it alive, and 5 seconds of hang time gives the Vikings 98 yards with 7.5 left, and Tavares Jackson will return after suffering from those cramps.
You know, we look at Kyle Orton, and it's obvious that he's having a terrible evening. And it's easy to make fun of him, and God knows I make a living doing something like that. But honestly, Jaws, what can they expect? He hasn't played in 2 years. He's the 3rd-string quarterback on a team where both the 1st and 2nd-string quarterback don't measure up in anybody's mind in the city of Chicago. What more could you ask out of Orton?
I agree with you, and they needed to find out what he could do as they make plans for the future.
He's not in them.
Vikings have turned it over 4 times tonight. They start from their own 2. Peterson. Adrian Peterson explodes to the secondary. To the 29, 27 yards.
I am almost surprised he did not take that to the house. He had that little seam, and he has incredible acceleration. You know, my friend Merrill Hodge calls him the cash register because he makes the defense pay if you don't maintain your gap discipline.
It's the same building, the same field, and the same end on Monday Night Football a couple of decades ago when Tony Dorsett went 99.5 yards for the longest touchdown in the NFL.
He was actually Tony Dorsett then. Then he became Tony Dorsett as the endorsements piled up.
19 carries, 80 yards, a couple of touchdowns for Peterson tonight. His carries coming late here, just a couple of yards. Michelle has more.
Well, Adrian Peterson told me that when he broke the single-season rushing record, 296 yards against San Diego, it was an incredible feeling. And when he looked back at the game film, he saw how the offensive line was making the accomplishment possible. So I asked, well, in the spirit of holiday giving, will you bestow gifts on your guys up front? And he said, if, and this is if I'm lucky enough to go to the Pro Bowl, I might just bring some of those guys with me. Although, Mike, some of those guys might get there on their own.
That's right. Steve Hutchinson, Matt Burke, multiple Pro Bowlers. Bryant McKinney's done a good job at the left tackle spot. After a gain of 2, Tavares Jackson to the air to Bobby Wade. Half a yard shy of the 1st down before 3rd and 1. SportsCenter 30-30, John Anderson.
Thank you, Mike. Hey, what makes a man leave almost heaven? Well, according to New Michigan coach Rich Rodriguez, it's a special opportunity and a special place. Rodriguez says somebody else will coach West Virginia in the festival. He is concentrating on the big house. NFL, the league suspends Cowboy safety Roy Williams 1 game and a paycheck for his most recent horse collar. His grab of Donovan McNabb, 4th offense in less than 2 seasons. Full Sports Center coming right after the game.
Thank you, John. NFL primetime follows that, so there's plenty of NFL coverage still ahead here tonight on ESPN. You see how short the Vikings are. They need that first full foot, I should say, for a first down conversion.
But Tony, you know, you look historically at the NFC and this division in particular, the old black and blue. This is how teams played. They win ugly. They win. It's not a pretty game. Quarterbacks aren't playing very well. But I find it very entertaining.
Well, I mean, they used to win that way outdoors. And now 2 of the teams in the league have had domes for quite some time. And maybe the emphasis on running the ball shifted away from some of these teams. They became pass happy, the indoor teams.
It's the Vikings 26th.
Vikings are going back.
Vikings 26th season.
They're going back to running.
Yeah.
When Brian Billick was a coordinator here, they threw the ball all the time, and now they're going back to running.
Third, less than a yard. The fullback, Richardson, gets the first down to the 42, and that should take a couple of minutes off the clock here and get you down to about the 3-minute mark.
The problem you have, I mean, when you have a really good running team, Jaws, as you know, the problem you have is if you fall behind by 2 scores, it's very hard for you to catch up. You are not a passing team. It takes a long time to get down the field running unless somebody breaks a great play, but it's just harder.
And especially with a young, developing quarterback.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tavares Jackson has not played well tonight. But remember this. This is his 12th start in the National Football League. He's still growing. He's going to make mistakes.
But he's leading what looks to be a playoff team, and nobody's going to give him a pass just because it's his 12th start.
Absolutely not. You got to play.
The 41, the rookie Peterson. Matt Toina, who was not on the Bears roster earlier this week, comes in and makes another play. All the guys that they've lost factoring in there. So even though Peterson dropped a couple of yards there, just perspective on his season, missing 2.5 games with the knee injury, he currently sits 3rd in the National Football League in rushing yards, with Willie Parker of the Steelers and LaDainian Tomlinson in his sights. But look at the carries. He has 62 carries less than LT and 102 less than Parker, yet is right in there with those 3 guys, perhaps chasing the NFL rushing title. And we'll see LT next Monday night on Christmas Eve with the Broncos and the Chargers from San Diego. Jackson, Jeff Dugan, tight end by trade, converted to a fullback. No gain, timeout Bears. They have 1 remaining with 3:44, and 3rd and 11 coming up. So a huge play for the Bears defense as Briggs is banged up. We'll be right back.
The NHL continues on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, Philadelphia fly into Buffalo to meet Brian Campbell and the Sabres for the first time this season. Then live from the Saddle Dome, the Flames host the Stars. A live NHL doubleheader this Friday only on NASN.
$10,000, I'll bet.
Heard that. The Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Good guess, Tony.
Bears have 1 timeout left. Vikings need to get across midfield to the Chicago 49 for a first down. And they fake the throw and run it up the middle of Chester Taylor, who will just be shy of the first down if that mark is right there.
Ooh, I think he may have got it, Mike. It's going to be very close. They got a favorable spot.
Yep. Spot was good. They'll stop the clock for measurement. And we'll see. And we'll also see what the Bears will do with their 1 timeout left if they are shy.
This is going to be very, very close. But I'm going to say it's a link and a half short.
Really?
I just shined my glasses up here. Clean them up good, Tony.
All right, so you're that close.
All right.
You're up 7.
Punt.
Punt it.
Punt. It's not even a question. Punt.
Don't give the Bears the ball at the 49, 51 yards away.
Your defense is playing well. They got a quarterback that is struggling. punt.
If you're going to punt,
I know it's Devin Hester.
You punt it sideways out of bounds.
I'm with you on that. I know he's going to be back there. Punt.
Best rushing team in the NFL. You
Punt.
put the game away
Punt.
if you make the
Punt.
touchdown.
It's all about percentages. Don't give your opponent a short field.
Now remember, the last 2 kicks, one because of a bad snap. Chris Kluwe did not directional kick it to the right, which he is very proficient at and had been doing all game. Devin Hester got his hands on it, and Brad Childress took 2 plays to talk to his punter and made it very clear. Not again.
Yeah, if this is in bounds, they'll be looking for a new punter.
Bears chose to let the clock run down and preserve that 1 timeout for their drive down the field. That's why Kluwe is milking the snap here, along with Heath Farwell calling out the signals. Farwell, the personal protector. And they'll take the extra 5 yards.
Now here's the problem that you have, Mike. When you directional kick, you really give the defense an opportunity to come off the edge.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
We saw it in the Denver game with Todd Sauerbrunn. You know, when Hester returned a kickoff and a punt for a touchdown, they use a directional kick. So, in other words, the punter's not kicking straight ahead. He's kicking on an angle. So when you come off the edge, you have a much better chance for the block.
And the Bears were double teaming the gunners, the 2 on the outside, to try to give Hester return room. Now this very potent kick returner. We'll see the Bears change their formation just a little bit, forcing the Vikings to come in. They come after it, almost get there, and will Hester get his hands on it? Yes, he will at the 10, but he has very little blocking here because they were all coming after the block. So no return. Chad Greenway, the 1st-round pick of a year ago, who was injured covering a kick in the first preseason game that he played last year, down there on special teams.
I still think you play with fire when you do this at all, when you put the ball in the playing field and you let Hester get his hands on it.
I agree with you. I
Play
totally
with fire.
agree. I know the snap wasn't great, and he did a great job of
nobody
getting
in
off
front of him.
there was pressure. No, I agree with you, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm shocked the ball was kicked into play, but I can understand why. He just wanted to get it off because they were going for the block, so now you're going to get 10 guys covering that kick really quick.
Kluwe has kicked it to the 3, the 13, the 9, and the 10 here tonight. The Bears and Kyle Orton, 2:45, 1 timeout, 90 yards, no running game. Orton to Greg Olsen, the tight end. Gain of 3. E.J. Henderson and Chad Greenway make the stop.
Earlier this season, Brian Griese took the Bears down the field against the Philadelphia Eagles. Can Kyle Orton do the same?
Well, they could turn to Griese. He's standing on the sidelines if they want.
Hester didn't know.
Not throw that out.
Hester didn't know what was going on there. Will they go to Devin? No, they'll go underneath. It is caught by Muhsin Muhammad. Down the sideline, out of bounds, gets another play. And the Bear fans in the crowd chant Moose as the former Michigan State Spartan took it to the 34.
That was close to being picked off completely.
Yeah, Charles Gordon went for the interception,
Yeah.
undercut it, and missed. And boy, those are the plays. If you miss it, yeah, could be a big play the wrong way if you're on the defensive side.
Been a long time since Orton's been in a spot like this. He hasn't played in 100 weeks. Pressured, got rid of it to Hester, who catches it at the 45. It'll be a 1st down as we hit the 2-minute warning. Spencer Johnson was around Orton, but Kyle with the completion. 55 yards away of the Bears. Can they tie the game, keep their season alive? Hester just goes down and gets it before it hit the ground.
College basketball returns to NASN with a live doubleheader featuring 3 of last season's Final 4. First up, Michigan's Wolverines take on the highly ranked UCLA Bruins. Then it's a national championship game rematch as Florida and Ohio State renew their rivalry. A live college basketball doubleheader this Saturday only on NASN.
Hockey Fights Cancer has raised more than $9 million for cancer care, research, and awareness. Don't give up. Join our hockey family in the fight against cancer. Log on to NHL.com and join the fight.
Don't give up. The hard-hitting action of American football continues on NASN, the home of the NFL. It's Week 16 and crunch time, with the playoffs getting closer and every game critical in the hunt to advance. This Sunday, it's a live doubleheader. The playoff-bound New York Giants battle the Buffalo Bills. Then, the Miami Dolphins take on one of the greatest teams in NFL history, the New England Patriots. Coverage begins with Sunday NFL Countdown, live this Sunday on NASN.
Scotty and Kenny. Here we are in downtown Minneapolis, 7-point game. Bears one timeout, ball at the 45-yard line. Chicago trying to save its season, stave off elimination from the playoff race. Kyle Orton hit as he threw, incomplete. The rush comes from Kevin Williams again. And has scored another touchdown last week, his 4 in his Vikings career. And he very well could be in the Pro Bowl mix when that team's announced tomorrow.
Yeah, once again, pressure up the middle. I'll tell you, when you flash in front of the quarterback like that, he's going to be forced to get rid of the football. Good pressure up the middle by the Vikings.
Rough night for quarterbacks.
Yes, it is.
Rough night.
Yes,
Again,
it is. Thank you, Tony.
Donovan McNabb sitting, watching, wondering, what have I bid for me?
Bears had plenty of time here in the whole field, so they are not in panic mode with 156. Orton is letting it go deep downfield for Bernard Berrien. It's intercepted by Darren Sharper. His 53rd career pick, his 4th of the year. Sharper down at the 39, and with one timeout and 98 seconds left, the Vikings are in great shape to move to 8-6 and send the Bears and the Eagles and the Lions and the Cardinals home for the playoffs.
That was a whisker away from falling into the hands of Bernard Berrien to tie this baby up. You'll see Orton here, pressure from his right side, flush from the pocket. He sees Berrien. He threw it back to his inside shoulder. If he would have thrown it more toward the middle of the field, that may have been a touchdown. Great reaction by Darren Sharper.
It had 11 seconds worth of hang time,
well,
that one.
Well, it was a long pass.
Yeah.
Minute 38, so the game should be over here. They don't need to run any plays, don't need to gain a first down. Lovie Smith has a timeout left, has not used it yet.
So they don't need to stop at the 1 like Brian Westbrook.
Well, Sharper should have done that, in all honesty, Tony, because if he fumbles, the Bears get the ball back.
How about Westbrook? That had to be the most intelligent play of the year.
He said John Runyon told him to do it and was chasing him.
You know, John is intelligent as well, by the way. Contrary to what most people think about offensive linemen.
I think you're the smartest guy.
Oh, gentlemen, there'll be a new champion in the National Football Conference this year. The Chicago Bears will be eliminated, as will the Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, and Arizona Cardinals. Minnesota still remains in control of its own destiny. Sunday night, they play the Redskins here. New Orleans also a game back. The Saints play the Eagles on Sunday, and Carolina playing Saturday night at home against Dallas, still alive at 6-8. They're the only of the 6-8 teams that will be alive here tonight. Kenny and Scott have SportsCenter. Those are the stories. Steve Young, Emmett Smith, Sal Palantonio here in Minneapolis, and the exclusive with Michael Jordan. Doesn't look like Lovie Smith's going to use that last timeout. To a knee, to 8-6, the Minnesota Vikings. Not pretty, but 5 wins in a row. And for the 7th time in 8 years, the team that loses the Super Bowl misses the playoffs the next year.
And falls below 500 in the process.
5 wins in a row. That is very difficult to do. Yes, it was ugly. Right. Give Brad Childress some props. Give his football team some props. They're on a little bit of a roll right now. They got to correct that little thing called quarterback play, and they'll be all right.
Series sweep for the Vikings after the Bears swept Minnesota in 2006. SportsCenter is next with Tony Kornheiser, Ron Jaworski, Susie Colbert, birthday girl Michelle Tafoya, and our great ESPN Monday Night Football crew. Thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. See you on Christmas Eve from California.
See you in San Diego.